Well, it's another podcast. Just called Picking It Out. It's another podcast, y'all. Just called Picking It Out. Got Mr. Jake Owen in the house. Yeah, and we're gonna be picking it out. Everybody likes that little thing there.
Heck yeah. Do you ever learn the old Greg Allman, Hank Jr. version of
Lord got those. Oh yeah.
Come and Go Blues?
I love it.
I've tried to do that a few times, but I feel like I can't play it like Hank plays it. So this just got some soul to it. So I was like, I'm not going to try that in front of people.
It's like laying off of it enough is the hardest part. Yeah. Like not trying to, I've done that a few times, like at bars and stuff, and you just want to, play the hell out of it. Yeah. But then it's like the wrong thing to do. Well, we got Jake Owen sitting here. He's got a new record. It's out today. And I thought this was important to do because this is a real record and it makes a huge statement, in my opinion, and in the opinion of a lot of people, I think. He basically walked away from his record deal to make this record. And I wanted him to share about how this happened and wanted you to really find out who he is. So we're glad to be sitting here with him.
Thanks, Andrea. I appreciate it, man.
What's been going on?
I've been looking forward to this. Yeah, I've just been staying busy on the road, mixing that with trying to finish up this whole record thing. But it's been really fulfilling, just kind of the response, I guess I could say, to what this music is, and as we were chatting earlier before we got here in front of the camera about the thing that Rick Rubin said that I know we're locked onto the other day was about making music for yourself and that you should put the audience last. And I don't know that I've ever truly done that. I've always thought about the audience because I want to make them happy, and maybe after 20 years of doing that and making a lot of people happy, the only person that I maybe felt like wasn't truly happy was myself. And even though I'm grateful and I'm so thankful for everything that I've accomplished, you can still be happy and grateful for things you've accomplished, but still have dreams you want to fulfill, which is where the name of this album came from. And so putting myself first this time around and is really what I think is what benefits the audience the most. And like, obviously a guy like yourself being, attracted to this record and enough so to want to chat with me about it is so cool. And it really is a true testament to what Rick said. It's like, if you make the music for yourself, what you're doing is you're doing the best for the audience. And if you're making it for the audience, that's not art, that's commerce. And I feel like this time around, I bypassed the idea of making any type of idea of commerce. It was really about the art and myself. And it's cool to that's kind of where I'm at with this whole thing. And it feels good to be able to kind of share that with folks like yourself and everybody else out there. It's like it feels like just really honest and real to be able to sit here and talk about it.
Well, I've heard the record. You played it for me a while back, and I really do think it's a really good record that people do need to hear.
Well, thank you, man.
And I'm happy for you too that you are in this place where you can actually do it. And I've said before, I hope this inspires some other guys in the Nashville machine, so-called, to do the same thing. As long as it's real and it's not forced, like a thing like, oh, well, this is let's hop on this train right now, this outlaw train or whatever. That's why I wanted to come, because it's not like that with you. I mean, I remember seeing a video a while back where you were doing a Tyler Childers song, and I'm like, like I didn't even think you knew who Tyler Childers was.
Yeah, I've always it's funny. Part of my problem throughout my career has always been I'm a bit like, I'll just say what's on my mind, And being like a kid from the beach or whatever, it was always like was being perceptually accepted as like this guy making like beach songs and ditty songs, Yeah. I kind of got wrapped up into that type of persona, but I still have like a bit of a chip on my shoulder sometimes of like trying to prove myself. I think that's always been like something that I've struggled with. Speaking of Tyler Childers, I'll never forget whatever video you may have seen. I do remember that. Because I only played his song one time in my life because he pissed me off after he said something about, this up and comer Jake Owen playing one of my songs, and I messed up the lyric in it or something. And I just remember he said that on Twitter, and I was like, I love Tyler Childers. I love his music and all that. But some of my favorite people that I love as musicians sometimes take themselves a little too fucking seriously.
They do.
And anyways, I just remember thinking, damn, dude. And this was years ago too, like before he really like hit it big. And I'm like, man, I was in Kentucky playing. I played a Keith Whitley song that night. I played Kevin Denny, who, by the way, is a way better singer than Tyler Childers.
Yeah, I agree.
And I still love Tyler Childers. But it's like I was playing all these artists from Kentucky in a little medley for the fans because that's what I thought they would enjoy. And the response I got from that day. And maybe he was just being a little, but anyway, not to get on that negativity, but I do love Tyler Childers. I love those kind of songs and I love that kind of music. And it's taken me a long time to get to this point where I can like really put out there what I love. And a lot of it's probably maybe my own fault. Like I allowed the so-called business and the commerce. I allowed that to also drive not just myself, but the business around me and all the people that I have to employ. And so it can be tough sometimes to walk away and do that more independent side of things, because I don't want to let anyone down. And I realized this time around for me, it was like, well, if I do this on my own and I pay for it and I put my so-called money where my mouth is and go make the best record I can, if it doesn't work commercially, then who am I letting down? Like no one can say that I let them down because I did it on my own. But if it's not commercially successful either, like I wasn't aiming for that. So therefore I'm not letting myself down either. We all win.
Yeah.
So anyhow.
So when you came to that point of like, I'm really going to walk away, from the Nashville machine, and do my own thing, did you have anybody that you told or that supported you in that at all?
I think and again, I'll say this, man, like I don't walked away from like Nashville's like the idea of what people are here for. Like the greatest musicians in the world, the greatest guitar players, the greatest songwriters in the world, they're all here in Nashville. What I got tired of is the continuous what's next.
Yeah.
Like you give a song to radio, who has been great to me as well, but like they're like, but wait, this new song, maybe that's not what our audience wants, or like they want the beach guy. What about that? The summer songs, we want that guy. We don't want a serious song that may be on this album, And so it was just my first opportunity, not having a record label that has a lot of invested money in me. Mm-hmm. Like if you have a lot of invested money in your artist, you're going to expect them to also kind of get in line with what your ideas are of why you sign them. And so I don't blame the machines for wanting their artists to fall in line with what their beliefs are and what their team meetings are all about and whatever, because if you have a bunch of artists out there doing their own thing and saying, here's what you get, like it's a dangerous business to be in. So, but the business and the music never really truly align sometimes. And so you have to choose one or the other. You're going to jump in the business pool over here and play that game, or you're going to jump in the art pool and see where that takes you. And, going back to Tyler Childers, there's other artists, Eric Church, there's art, I think of a lot like I think the Turnpike Troubadours have done an incredible job with the way they've never strayed away from their artistry, and just this is what we do. Whiskey Myers is doing that right now too. Like, and these are all like not even traditional necessarily country, but
yeah.
And then you go on the other side of the fence, and like Charlie Crockett's doing it, right?
Yeah.
Like these guys that have just done their thing and stuck to it is very admirable. Because I'll be the first to tell you, like it's hard. It's super hard to do it, and it also goes to show you, though, too, as I mentioned, that like even if you are doing it on the commerce, Nashville industry, machine side of it, you can have a bunch of hits. There's a bunch of guys out there right now with hits on the radio and whatever. But like if they step away from the record deal, or if they stop having hits on the radio, what more are you than that? Right? I've seen that with myself. Like I had 10 number ones, and then when it's time to make a new record, like Nashville, we said this earlier, like Nashville producers and stuff weren't like reaching out to me like, let's go make another record, Jake. They just kind of look at you like, well, you've had your moment and you're done. So we'll just move on to the next kid, which gets us back to Shooter. And this album is like, Shooter reached out to me and he saw something in me that no one else has ever seen. Like that is the most fulfilling thing that any grown ass man can feel. I swear, and I mean that from the bottom of my heart to Shooter and his guys out there, and like he was like, dude, I think you're bigger and better than what you think you even are, and all this stuff you've done behind you that people can judge you for, people are proud of you for, you've built your life upon it. Like I think there's a whole other side of you that people have never seen, and I want to do that. And I was like, let's do it. That's pretty cool.
Man, he's an awesome guy.
Yeah.
I don't know that we would have Sturgill Simpson even on the level that we have him if not for Shooter, because he introduced David Cobb to Shooter. I mean, to Sturgill.
Right.
And a lot of people don't know that, but that's, just kind of casually, just like it is.
And it's the idea too that like these guys like Dave Cobb and Shooter and everything they did to stick to their roots and say, look, I don't want, like, I'm not gonna, and like Dave lives here too, like he was out in LA for all those years, but he's back here making all the records on lots of great people, but obviously Stapleton and the way he's made Stapleton, it's this unadulterated man singing songs that are just like unbelievable. And he never took Chris out of what Chris was always great at.
Yeah.
Writing a song and singing it. And it's like, and then putting it on tape. Like there's nothing around it that's like takes away from who Chris is. And I think Dave's great at that. I think that's what's great at Shooter. When you listen to all these records that they're making, they just take the artist and they take the song and they record it, and that's what it is. Like, there's nothing that's like takes you away from who that artist is or what the music is. It's just, it's pure.
Yeah.
And they've stuck to that. And I think because of that, they've encouraged all these other artists to like be pure in their own right and not over polish things. And that's what's given each one of these different artists their own unique thing. And it starts with people like Shooter, Dave Cobb, like believing in that artist and saying, what you do is good. Let's just get that on tape.
Yeah.
Right. And I think that's so admirable for these guys to have no ego and just say like, I'm not going to make a Shooter Jennings album. I'm going to make a Charlie Crockett album. I'm going to make a, Turnpike Troubadours album. Or I'm going to make a Jake Owen album. Like, thanks for putting my name in there to Shooter. Like I'm grateful, man.
Yeah. He's a hell of a guy. And, I think he recognizes real too, even in who somebody is, he recognizes a real person, whether they have any musical talent or not. If you're a real person, you're going to connect kind of with him. I have a feeling Waylon was kind of like that too, from what I heard. Like he either liked you or didn't like you. But if he didn't like you, he just wouldn't have nothing to do with you.
Yeah. And I loved how Shooter talks about too, like, he's like, my dad was, and he said that, at his dad's record release here in Nashville, and you were there with Dana.
Yeah, where we met. Yeah.
He's like, my dad was misunderstood as someone that was like this rough, rowdy, hardcore guy. He's like, my dad was a soft, like hearted human who loved like lots of people. But he stood up for what he like knew what he believed in, and he knew what he liked, and he knew what he didn't like. And And I can see that with Shooter too. And I can also see with Shooter as he's grown older too. I hear him talk about things and the way he handled things earlier in his life. And I think we're all at that place in our lives now, which was cool for me to work with him, because there's a lot about my own life that I'm glad I am where I am now. It took the mistakes I've made. It took like the arrogance maybe I've had and before in my life to like just lead me to a path of understanding like of who I am now and who I want to be. And I think he's kind of in that way too. He's like coming into his own of who he wants his legacy to be as well. And like, we just kind of happened to find each other at times in our lives where maybe if I would have met Shooter 20 years ago too, when I was coming up, he would have been like, I don't know that I like this guy, you know. But we've kind of found our way by getting out of our own selves, like ego, you know, and that's what he doesn't have at all. I noticed that working with him, man. He had no ego. He was just like, whatever you want to do, man. Like, bring anyone you want to bring. He's like, you have friends that you want to be a part of this, or you want to play on it, or he's like, you're playing guitar on this, right? Like, I was like, yeah. And he just like opened the world to me up of making an album the way that I wanted to make it. I never felt like there wasn't anything that was off limits.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
What made you want to work with him initially? Just the stuff that he's done, or just?
Yeah. I mean, I've always been a huge fan of his, but again, going back to the way that I just love that he likes to make records because they sound good,
yeah,
and they sound real, and he obviously, like, his affinity for understanding classic country music, but also loving rock and roll and like loving all this stuff. Like, the reason I think we hit it off and love Hank Jr. is because, well, Hank Jr. obviously is the lineage of classic country music, but he loved Southern rock, man.
Oh, yeah.
And he loved, you know, just cool funk and things and blues and the stuff that we all do as musicians. And blending it all together is something that's important. And I think that's what I like. You ask about Shooter. What I like about what he does is that he's found a way to still be an artist himself, but allow the artists he works with and when he's the producer, just to be themselves as well, and encourage them to do whatever they want to do.
Yeah,
like that's what art is,
right? And
I think when we look back on like the album, like, you know, the New South, when Hank made that record with Richie and Waylon, the reason maybe you and I and all of us love it so much is there had to have been a freedom that Hank felt working with his friend.
Yeah.
And also there had to have been a time too where maybe Waylon was like, I don't know, Hank, you know, maybe try this. And Hank may have been like, yeah, you're right. Like, you need your friends, and you need people that not only encourage you, but you also need your friends to tell you when you're maybe not right about something. And I felt that way with Shooter. Now, we weren't like necessarily friends before I ever went out there, but I can tell you, like, leaving LA, like, I made like a friend for life. Like, yeah. I met a guy that like really believed in me more, not only just as an artist and a musician, but like he believed in me as like a human.
Yeah. Like
more than the music. And he brought me into his world, even with people like you. I got to meet you through a guy like Shooter. I got to immerse myself with people I've never maybe would have been able to bump shoulders with, and have conversations with if it wasn't for him, understanding how much music and the integrity behind it means to me. He believed that. And so he opened up Pandora's box to me, of that side of music that I think can be protected by a lot of people like him. I don't blame him, because I think until you have that reverence for music and the history and the integrity and keeping it that way, all those within that world, Shooter and all of them, they're like, no, you don't get in the secret club until. Yeah. And so I felt like he kind of allowed me to dip my toes into that. And it felt amazing. It felt real good.
The Songbird thing's so awesome.
Oh,
the Waylon thing. And I'm so glad like it was on the charts. That's so awesome.
And all those songs, like every song on that album sounds like it, if he was making that record today,
right now, I know
it's what it would be like. and all of them to me feel like my favorite Waylon songs I've ever heard.
They do. It's so good, and you know, I know there's 2 more coming. I can't wait to hear. I've heard some of them.
It's funny. I told Shooter when we were making the record, he was like, "Hey, do some covers or whatever." You know, that's what my dad used to love to do, and so
yeah.
One of the songs that I always loved, obviously of Hank Jr.'s, is what Waylon put on this, or what Shooter put on this new album that Haggard recorded.
Yeah, I don't have any more love songs.
Have any more love songs to try on you. And I remember grabbing my guitar out there in LA one morning and just went in there and played it. And I loved it. I actually liked it, and I was just going to leave it acoustic on the record. And Shooter, I think, liked it as well, but I could just tell like he wasn't engaged in it. And it never really, and because of that, I didn't really ever feel the need to push it on the record or anything.
Yeah.
Until Songbird came out, and then I realized he probably never, he was being too nice. He didn't want to be like, yo, like, I'm putting this on my dad's new album that he did, because he obviously loved the Hank songs too, and it's way better. So I'm really glad that we just kind of shoved that out of the way, especially when I heard the Waylon album. I was like, oh, this is so good.
Yeah, it is.
But yeah, there's a lot of cool experiences that I got being able to be out there and sit in that studio, not only making my own album, but him like sneaking in and playing some songs that were going to be out on this Songbird record.
Yeah.
I love that. I'm going to lay back with my woman.
Yeah.
Going to have ourselves some fun. I mean, the grooves on those songs just get you just kind of feeling good.
Hell yeah. That's a great record. Of course, we've talked about loving Hank Jr. I think he's probably mine and your favorite artist and songwriter at this point.
Yeah.
I've pretty much deducted that. When was the first time you remember ever hearing him? Like ever?
It's funny you ask that question. So my dad loves music, but he's not like immersed in it. He just like liked people he liked.
Yeah.
And I remember when I was like a kid, it was like when that whatever they called it, like CD warehouse or something. You could order like 15 CD.
Columbia House.
Yeah. For like a penny, right?
Yeah.
And so my dad would always get these CDs in the mail. And it was everything from, like, my dad loved everything from like the Gap Band to like Robin Trower, guitar player. It's like really interesting stuff. But like, I remember when on the counter, I'll never forget this. There were 2 albums that came in at the same time. And I guess this would have been like 1990-ish. So I was born in 81. So I was, 9 years old. And on the counter there where we had like this, like, cause we just got CD player, those CD players had just come out. So that's why the whole big influx of the CD warehouse, whatever they called it, Columbia House. And I remember there was this No Fences Garth Brooks album. And it was the No Fences. He was like standing there like this. And then the one sitting right next to it on the counter, dude, was Hank Jr. Live.
Oh yeah.
Okay. And it was red, and it looked like just like, I mean, and I always knew who Hank Jr. was, but as a 9-year-old kid, like, you're just like, I don't know, like wasn't immersed in it the way I am now. But I just remember being like, which one of these am I going to listen to? And I remember looking at him like, I don't know. I don't think it's going to be the one like with the guy standing next to a fence with a serious look on his face. I'm like, I'm going to listen to this one where this guy looks like he's just having a blast.
Yeah.
And the way that Hank Jr. was written and live, and it had that like orange and red, like on fiery look, like on the, like, I want to listen to this. And I'll never forget it. Like, I put it in on Dad's thing, and I sat on the floor in the stereo, and the first thing like you hear is like this intro, and it's Merle Kilgore comes out, and he goes, yes, the 5-time entertainer of the year. Yeah. Like, you know, it's like, I was like, yes, let's go. And then for the next hour or whatever, I listened to this live just random mix of music and like horns and entertainment and everything. And he played Sweet Home Alabama on that, right? And he's playing it with like this crazy distortion on his guitar. And it was like my first experience of understanding like, oh, Hank Jr. isn't just like the son of Hank Williams. Like I was just like, Hank Jr. is a badass, you know what I mean? Guitar player, piano player, entertainer, storyteller, like, and it just blew my mind. And so that's what made me go like, I want to know more about Hank Williams Jr. And as I then got into my dad's like other CDs is when I found, you know, like the first, you know, like Greatest Hits Volume 1, which would have been like, what did that have, Family Tradition on it? Or what was the first, well, when he started doing all, what would have been the first album? The black one that's got his face on the front of it. It's not, it's like maybe it's his Greatest Hits, like Volume 1.
It's got his big
face,
picture of his face.
But it's like black and white.
Yeah. I think that's the original Greatest Hits.
The original Greatest Hits, right? And it had like all those hits. So I remember then hearing those, being like, dang. And then it kind of got me into understanding his albums at that point and starting in the beginning. And it was just like, and it just made me realize like how much not only did I love him as a songwriter and singer, and still to this day, as much as I reference people like, you know, obviously Merle Haggard, Keith Whitley, Randy Travis, people as a kid, when I was a young kid, like I was drawn to deep voices that had like a stylistic thing to them.
Me too.
I don't know why, I just was. And like I loved somebody that had a deeper voice that was stylistically cool. Vern Gosdin, you know, like I was just like loved it. And but out of all those guys, even to this day, there's something about Hank Williams Jr.'s vocal tone on songs. Like he can belt out like his version of White Lightning. It's nothing like George Jones. It almost is like rock and rockabilly, but he and that's the other thing people don't realize about Hank Jr. is like his vocal range is crazy. Like he sings high, man.
Yeah,
like he can sing super high, but he also can sing like in his low vocal timbre, like he sings on the Blues Man or I'll Think of Something.
Yeah.
Like he just has this tone where you're like, I don't like that's what everyone wants. That's what everyone wants to sound like. And I don't know, you know, like guys like Haggard and stuff definitely had the smoothness and but it was just that. Like Hank Jr. could cover the gamut. And that's what I think made me love, long answer to your question, what got me into Hank Jr., but I think that's just what has always made me love him as a singer and an artist, is that he's just all over the place with what he does.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Did you ever see the George Jones show on TNN in like the late 90s?
Oh, yeah.
I love like all of those. But if
they're passing the guitar around.
And he's got like maybe, you know, Lori Morgan, but then he's got Johnny Paycheck and Merle Haggard together, or Bobby Bear or something. George in the 90s, right then, all those albums he was putting out that a lot of people don't really even know.
Right.
His voice to me sounded better in the 90s, right before he kind of started losing it, than it ever had. Because he had that deep
timbre in it.
Really deep, you know, like.
And I was talking about this yesterday with some folks about like, I love how artists, and this is where I am in my career, like I know this sounds different, this music, than what my Barefoot Blue Jean Night album would have sounded like. And like, but when you listen to like early, like in the 50s, 60s, George Jones, like Ray Price, even all these guys, they were all like trying to sound like what was working, and that was Hank Williams, right? Like, or they wanted, like they all, like you could listen to them, Fair and Young, all these guys, and you're like, they all sound a lot like Hank Williams, like, because Hank Williams that was the sound. That's what everyone, and I just remember like thinking and then when all of a sudden you're like, oh wait, like when George Jones started coming into his own stylistically, but it's just interesting. I love the ability for an artist to kind of come into their own and sound more mature. And like you said, like even Haggard, like early Haggard in his perfection of a voice and his smoothness then to me wasn't as appealing as it was when he got into like the early 80s and some of like Back to the Barrooms, stuff like that.
Now it's back. Yeah.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. hey, good doctor, I got something you can find.
Yes.
When she left me, I went to hell, and heaven was a drink of wine. Like those kind of songs, I just hope that they play those on my way to heaven, man. Like that's like the soundtrack I want, because that's just, it makes, I've always said this, sad country songs for some reason make me happy. It's an odd thing.
I've always thought the same thing. I wonder what it is about that. Is it like maybe make you feel like you're not alone? Well, something.
And that's what's interesting about on my album, the song "The Jukebox Knows" that Jamie Johnson wrote.
That's my favorite one on there.
Thank you. It's, first off, I'm a huge Jamie fan and always have been, and I've been lucky to have been friends with him for a very long time. In our own unique little circles that we've all kind of come up in. But when I knew I was making this record with Shooter and I was missing a few songs that I needed to feel that same feel, I reached out to Jamie and told him, hey man, what I'm doing and how I thought he may have a song or something he's written that you think would be good for it. And it wasn't even like a day later. He'd already sent me a couple of really great songs. And that one in particular made a lot of sense to me because of what we're talking about. Like, I love classic country music. I love those old sad country songs. And there was this sentiment of, I'm also at this place in my life where I, just had been going through this separation with my fiance, and I was alone a lot, and it's the only those sad feelings of relationships going down the drain or whatever is really what all these great country songs are all about. Yeah. And when I listened to his song and him singing the demo, it was just him in an acoustic, like a work tape. There was no produced demo. I was like, dude, this is my life. It's the idea that, broken plates and drywall scars. It's that's just kind of where we are. And the idea that sometimes you just need to settle down and go to the bar and listen to some old songs on the jukebox, because the jukebox knows the best. That can be your best friend sometimes. And so anyways, there was this long extended solo part in the middle of that song that I felt needed something more. And I love the song by David Allan Coe called "Don't Cry, Darling."
Oh yeah,
and which is written by
Crying Shame. I know that one.
Yeah, and George Jones does a recitation in the middle of it. And so I thought, and Kendall and I had talked about this, and I said, Kendall, wouldn't it be badass if I asked Jamie to write a recitation like that song and come in and just speak it on the record? And so when I brought it to Jamie's attention, Jamie had never heard that song, "Don't Cry, Darling." He didn't know it, which was really amazing for a guy like him. He knows all these old great songs. Yeah. And his first response was, we should cut this song, "Don't Cry, Darling." And he said, it's a Dean Dillon song, which is cool as well. And then he was all about writing that recitation. And when you go back and I for those out there that listen to this, check that out. As a songwriter, it's one thing to write a great song like he did, as The Jukebox Knows, but when the recitation wasn't there and he just by himself sat down and, all kinds of stories, and when you listen to the what he wrote in there, it's really poignant. Yeah. In what pertains to the song and how he said it. And to me, that's what great songs are, man. It's a way of saying it simply, but saying it so poignantly. And then the way he delivers it when you hear his voice come in, it's just sounds like the voice of God, And honestly, selfishly, outside of the fact that I love this record in general, I'm really excited that one day I can look back and say I had a song with Jamie Johnson, right? Not only did he graciously hand me a song of his own, but and said, yeah, Jake, I'd love for you to sing a song of mine. He then added his voice to it. To me, this whole record, having Shooter on it, having Jamie on it, having Kendall, be a big part of helping this and producing it with us and being there for me, is I couldn't ask for better people around,
Yeah. I remember when Starting With Me came out, I was like, I like this.
Yeah.
And then Yeehaw, I think, came out after that. And then a few more. And then it got to Barefoot Blue Jean Night. And I'm like,
you're like, I'm out.
We lost another one. That was a good run.
That's what's interesting, man. I really think it's important to say this. Again, not to toot my own horn. This isn't about that, but it is about me realizing something that I'm proud of myself, dude. And it's cool because we've connected on this, and whether you liked that Barefoot Blue Jean Night stuff or not, like, it was really impactful in my life and my career. And at the time, I'd had a record deal for 7 years. And I'd had those songs, starting with Me, Yeehaw. I wrote all those with Kendall. And I'd wrote every song. I never knew what it was like to take an outside song because the guys I was working with at the time, we were writing everything together. And nobody was encouraging me to take outside songs because I think no one ever tried to, nobody was ever out for themselves. But they were like, I'm sure that they were like, if I write these songs with Jake and he puts them out, like, it's good for all of us. But they were never like, you should take outside songs because it wouldn't benefit any of us songwriting wise.
Yeah.
So when Joe Galani said, Jake, you need a new producer, we need to try something different. You've had 7 years and we spent a lot of money and not had a whole lot of return. He introduced me to Tony Brown. And so obviously, Tony Brown recorded everything from Vince Gill, to making the damn Copperhead Road album for Steve Earle, which is, I'm a huge Steve Earle fan.
Me too.
And I started recording a few songs with Tony, and I noticed that, it was Tony Brown and he was amazing, but the sound is the same. Like, I sounded the same. My music sounded, I was just going to put out more music that sounded just like me again. And there was nothing that was like going to make anybody after 7 or 8 years go like, these are great songs. And so I'd found this other song I really enjoyed, and I knew that it wasn't going to have the same sound that I needed. And I told that to Rodney Clausen, who wrote it. And he's like, hey man, you should meet this guy, Joey Moy, who's moving here from Canada. And he just produced all this Nickelback stuff. And I'm like, Nickelback? People give Nickelback a lot of shit, but like, it's only because they were so polarizingly in your face for so long. And that sound was so different. But I was like, maybe that's what I need. In my mind, I was like, maybe I need a sound change. Like, if I work with Joey, maybe he can take what I love as far as country music and blow it up to a sound that sounds like Nickelback. And then I don't sound like anybody else on the radio. And to be honest, and this is sounding like a long story, but that's what happened. I got with him. He computer generated instruments, and it was the first time that this started happening. Like kick drums and claps and all this stuff that sounded like bombs are going off. And it was a definitive changing point in country music that I guess I'm responsible for. But it was a huge, at the time, to be real with you, like, it was a risk. I took a risk to sound different, and it worked. And so, again, like, I look at it as like a time in my life where I was also kind of scared as to where my career was going. Yeah. And I needed to make a change. And I did. I told Tony Brown, one of the greatest producers of Hall of Fame, I was just at his induction, like, hey, Tony, man, I don't know how to tell you this, but is it cool if I go make a record with this guy that like makes Nickelback records? And Tony Brown, to his credit, which is why he's just like Shooter, and great producers are like this. He's like, Jake, I can't wait to hear it. I bet it's awesome. Like, you need to do what's best for you. And he didn't get mad at me. He's like, I can't wait to hear it. And so honestly, 5 of the songs on that Barefoot Blue Jean Night album are songs that Tony produced, but Joey just remixed it. And I had 5 number ones in a row. Bam, 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 bam. Then I was off to the races. But granted, with that came me trying to then, not trying, but people wanting me to be that forever. And the problem is, after a while, just like in music, in the waves of it, which is why I do appreciate guys like George Strait. And it's like, he never drifted from what George Strait is. Like, there's always been that. And there's not a lot of artists that you can point to that have just never strayed from that. They've often, they've tried different things. And, but yeah, like, it gave me the opportunity to get to this point in life when it's time again for a change, and to say, trust me, there's lots of people in Nashville right now too. They're like, what? Like, they're like, what have you been doing? And I'm like, I went to LA and made a record with Shooter Jennings. And they're like, what? Why would you do that? And I'm like, because I'm tired of doing the same shit that all y'all are doing here. Yeah. Like, trying to find the next hit on the radio. Like, I've had those, and they don't change your life, and they don't make you any happier. They may bring you some more, monetary success. They may, but like, are you fulfilling your own heart? And like, that's what I've been missing this whole time. And so it was time again to like make a change and go out there, and I will tell you that my heart is filled. My heart is very fulfilled, and it feels good to feel that way.
Well, I mean, I truly hope it inspires other artists, you know, in your position to do the same thing. Really,
I had a friend of mine text me. I don't want to say his name, but artist and a great artist, someone I really admire and respect. And he word for word said something to me that blew my mind. He's like, Jake, I just want you to know, like, watching the way you guys are doing this and the way the content you're putting out and the way you went and made this album, he's like, you have the balls that I wish a lot of us had the same to go do. And that kind of blew my mind because, like, I don't have the ball. Like, I'm not going to sit here and tell you I have the balls that no one else does. Like, but I just, like, believe in me. It's not about having balls. Like, I just believe I believe in my intuition. I believe in my heart. And it's no different than the intuition in my heart that I had when I left Tallahassee and moved to Nashville, when everyone told me then, like, are you sure you want to do this? Like, really, man? Like, what if you don't make it? Like, well, who gives a shit? I can always come home. Like same thing. People are like, are you sure you want to go out to LA, man, on your own and pay for this and make a record of songs that probably won't, you know, aren't going to get played on the radio? Isn't that how you make your money? Is that how you pay your band? Isn't that how you, well, yeah, but what if it does work? What if then I can look back and know that I chased what was true to me. I would hate to just keep putting out shit to make other people happy if it wasn't making me happy. Like, and so it's a fine line to walk, man, where you feel like people can listen to this and watch us talk and go, like, is that guy grateful for everything that he's been able to do? Like, hell yeah. I couldn't be more grateful for everything. But, like, I get bored, man. I get bored playing the game. Like, yeah. I want to do more stuff that makes me happy and surround myself with people like Shooter that are fired up about it. And it's not just like, you know, what's next. It's like he has a passion for this. He didn't just do this to do it because he's got his own reputation to put on the line. And he did it because he told me, he's like, you are inspiring me. I love working with people that want to take a risk or want to take a chance on something. And that's what I want to do too. It's what inspired me to work with him. He was taking a risk on me, which gave me more inspiration of like, what's he going to bring to the table? What's he? And that's fun, man. But with all due respect to Nashville here and all the great musicians that have played on all my hit songs on the radio, like nobody in Nashville as a musician or as a artist ever was like, or excuse me, producer was ever like, Jake, you're going to play guitar on this record, right? Like, you wrote these songs, you play guitar. It's like, it was always about the commerce of it. It's like, well, studios are expensive. These musicians are the best in the world. Why would we want you to play on it? We could just get him to play it one time perfectly. It's like, because maybe if he plays it one time perfectly, it doesn't sound as honest and real as it does if I play it imperfectly 5 fucking times.
Exactly.
Do you know what I mean? But what you're going to get is me I don't know. And what I loved about Shooter was, and when you listen to this record, yeah, you can put it A and B to a record made in Nashville. It's perfectly, every guitar is perfectly in tune, and but like, it's not what I wanted this time around. I wanted it to sound not perfect. And the Shooter said to me, you're not perfect. You expect yourself to sound perfect? You know, Trina Shoemaker that mixed it gave me the most fulfilling compliment when she was like, Jake, you sound like a man singing a man's songs. That's, like I said earlier, like unadulterated, just music that, like, she's like, I don't know. She doesn't know me. I've never met Trina. If I walk by her, she walked by me, I don't know that we'd even write. But she was like, I feel you in this. Like, when I'm mixing it, I feel your honesty in it. And to me, that was the best compliment that I could have ever received. You know, I've never had someone like a mixer call me or text me while they were mixing Barefoot Blue Jean Night and tell me, other than like, this song's a smash. Like, yeah. They weren't like, I feel you in this. Like, I feel who you are. And like, to me, that's what music is, man. Like, yeah. When people can know who you, that's what we're talking about, this Hank Jr. shit. Like, I know who Hank Jr. is by listening to his music. And that's what makes me a huge fan of his and understand his journey. Like, I feel like there's a part of me that's been missing in my music, and I want to give that to people.
Well, you know, I think a lot of people fell in love with music in the first place. I mean, I'm speaking for myself, but I feel like a lot of people did because of the imperfections. You know, you don't want it to sound perfect. Everything, you know, all the tracks slid here and there and lined up, and you know, it don't need to sound perfect. It kind of gives it a heartbeat, in my opinion.
Well, it's interesting. We all reference Keith Whitley as like being one of the greatest singers of all time. And, you know, when you listen to I'm No Stranger to the Rain and you hear those guitar parts that are just like, it like perfectly like sounds, and his voice is great. But like, you know, what's really great is when you hear, when I was alone in the desert, you know, that I drank water.
Right.
And it's like, it sounds like a work tape of him and his guitar, like that never really was released. That's the one I listen to. Do you know what I mean? Like, because I feel his emotion in it. I feel like I can hear every bit of hurt that he has when he says, tell Lori I love her. Tell Lori I need her. Yeah. You know, and 100%. It's like, I believe it, dude. Like, I feel your hurt in that. And I don't know that if the whole band and everyone played to a click track and it became something, if it would be as beautiful and pretty and as hurtful as that song that sounds like he hit record on the tape deck and played into this little microphone on the front of a tape recorder.
Yeah.
And to me, that's like one of the best recordings of something I've heard in my lifetime.
Yeah. If you can't feel that, you must be dead.
Yeah.
I mean,
and so that's kind of where I've just been trying to rest my head recently, is just like find ways to, when I listen back, even as a fan of music, and I've not always loved listening to myself. I find it interesting in people that do, like artists that love listening to their own music. Like I have a hard time doing it, but I'll be honest with you. I've listened to this new album a lot and I'm proud of it. I'm proud of me. Like I'm proud of Shooter. I'm proud of like everybody else that's been a big part of helping me make this. Like I've got a lot of my friends on this album, from people that are in my hometown of Kingston Springs out there, like the girls that work in the coffee shop, own the pizza shop. They're all singing on it. That's Scotty cool. Emmerich, who's one of the greatest singers, songwriters, guitar players that I have ever known in my life, like is singing on it in backgrounds. And he also wrote a few songs on this record. And it just feels incredible to like have everybody that's a big part of my life be a big part of this album. Like feels real.
Yeah, it is real.
Yeah.
And, you know, I think you'll always treasure it like you do now. I can just tell, you know, by talking to you. And when I met you the other night, you know, I mean, I can just tell.
Yeah.
It seems like a full circle thing, sort of. It's like, yeah, major labels, major publishers, you know, thanks for the ride in the shiny Ferrari, but I need to hop back in the old truck and still got a few miles on. I need to get down the road, you know?
Yeah.
Kind of like that.
Well, it's cool. Like we were talking about John Anderson earlier and his voice and everything, and sounded so good. What's cool about John is he's always done his thing too. It's like he definitely, earlier on in his career, I've sat with him and written songs, and he told me like how much he hated 1959.
Oh my God.
He's like, I hated that song. I don't want to record that song. He's like, I can't remember the name of the lady that was at the label at the time that was like, no, you're going to record this song. And he's like, in 1950, he's like, he was 3 or however many years old, like a young kid, like in 1959, I wasn't like, this doesn't make sense to my life.
Yeah.
But it's all these years later, when you listen to him sing that song, it's like it's such a classic. And there are good things about the business, man. Like, I mean that. And I say that for anybody who's listening. Like, there are people out there and like A&Rs and people that move just like us as artists. They move to this town too because they love music.
Yeah.
The business and the commerce of this can sometimes cloud, but like there's so much great music that we would have never got if people hadn't moved to Nashville.
Oh yeah.
Or record label presidents hadn't put a song in front of somebody that they didn't like at first, but when they put their vocal on it, it turned into one of the biggest hit songs we've ever heard.
Yeah.
And it was made in Nashville. So none of what I'm telling you today or anyone I would tell is to knock Nashville or it's just Nashville has given me the opportunity to get to another chapter in my life where luckily I can make the music that I've always wanted to. And I'm super grateful for that. And I think that's like the beauty of it. And going back to the John Anderson thing is like, he made those early records and had those early hits. And then he kind of went away for a while and made some like bluegrass albums and made some other cool stuff, gospel things. But you know, I remember when I was in, like, he'd had not so much success for a while, but when he came back out and had that Seminole Wind album that had Straight Tequila Night and all those songs, that was way different than his early, you know, the crowd was very small.
Yep.
But it's like, it was this resurgence in his career. And I think that's what I wish for all of Nashville more than anything. I wish that they would also help a lot of this. There's so many other artists out there right now too that I feel like are on the back burner that are such incredible artists that with just the right song or two or a new album push, that like the resurgence of these artists' careers could be great for country music. Yeah. You know, and I hope that for Nashville. I'm hoping that younger artists too can like collab with some older artists, in hopes of like just like bridging this gap of what's new, what's old, what's cool, what's not. Like, music's great, man. Just find what feels good and do it.
Did you ever do any fairs or anything with Hank? Ever open for him or get to talk to him or anything like that?
Yes. Yes. I played a few shows with Hank Jr. One of them was at the 101st Airborne years ago, with John Rich. And that was a fun day. One of my funniest moments of Hank Jr. was, we played the Strawberry Festival in Florida, and he flew in. We all had 3 buses there that day. 2 were mine, 1 was his, because he just was flying in. So I guess he was coming to walk up on his bus. But all the buses were black. And so we're all on the bus, man. And all of a sudden the door opens and up walks Hank Jr. Oh, shit. You're right. And we're all like, and before I could even say anything, he realized he was on the wrong bus. And he was like, God damn. And he turned around and he just walked off. And, but I've never really talked to Hank Jr. Other than, like, I didn't say anything to him that day. I was like, I don't want to, man. I'd rather just be a huge fan. Yeah. But I will say, you know, people say that Hank can be tough sometimes to be around, and as far as like he's just in his own deal. But for some weird reason, I got asked to be a part of Merle Haggard tribute at the Bridgestone Arena. And I was standing backstage, man, and Bobby, like, dude, it was crazy, the people that were back there. And you just had, like, speaking of John Anderson's standing there, I'm talking to him, and Hank Jr. walks up and starts talking to, like, it's just, I'm in the middle of a conversation, which is like me, John Anderson, and Hank Jr. And I'm like, what? And I'm there to sing Footlights for Haggard. And just, man, there was all kinds of people there. And in that moment, I was like, this is it. Like, this is my only chance. When am I ever going to get a photo with Hank Jr. and John Anderson together? I don't know what made me have the nuts to do it, dude. But I just like, hey, guys. And like, we were in a conversation. It's like, how do you even interject, right? It was like, would I be asking too much? Like, could I please, like, y'all 2 are my heroes. Could I please, you can tell me no, and I'll have my feelings hurt. I will, but will you please, can I get a photo? And you know, John, who's always been great, and he's like, oh, hell yeah, Jake, for sure. He goes, get in here, Hank. And sure enough, man, I got the photo. I'll get it to you. You can put it on. But I'm in the middle, man, and I got my arms like this around John Anderson and Hank Jr. And Hank Jr.'s got his arms crossed like this with like that kind of head to the side, you know, and he's got a smile on his face, man, and kind of cool thing. And and I was like, to this day, that's a wall hanger, man, like a wall hanger. And I've got a guitar that's hanging on my wall at the house. I've only had like people that I like super admire sign it. It's a 1944 00 Gibson. And on that guitar, the only signatures on it at this point, I have John Daly, because he got drunk one night on my tour bus and saw other artists on there, and he's like, I'm gonna sign that. And I was like, well, you're about the only person that's on the level of these other people as far as legends, so yes, you can sign it. He's the only musician. But Charlie Pride signed it, bless his heart, he's in heaven. Joe Diffie signed this guitar, bless his heart, he's in heaven. Jimmy Buffett signed this guitar, bless his heart, he's in heaven. Travis Tritt signed it, because I love me some Travis Tritt.
Oh yeah.
And thankfully he's still here with us. And John Anderson signed it, and that's it. I take that back. I got Marty Rabin on there, because I love Shenandoah too. And but I'm missing Hank Jr. The day I get Hank Jr.'s signature on that guitar, like, game over. Like, I just feel like it. But I don't know that I could ever get to I don't know how that'll ever happen. I don't know how I could ever get to the place to ever ask him for that. But I definitely, I think certain artists, they get tired of hearing about how they've inspired other people. They don't want to hear that. They're just like, I do what I do. If I inspired you, cool. But when I think about the amount of time I've spent in my life talking to my friends about his music, and the amount of time I've spent talking about it's almost like the Bible, man, of like country music in a weird way. Like, you can study it, and then you want to share it with your friends, like as the gospel, and you want to tell them about why Hank Jr. wrote this song, like you did, man. Like, if it wasn't for him falling off this mountain, we would have not had these songs. Yeah. And like, it's passionate to you because you get it, and you want other people to get it too. Like, you guys don't understand how important this is. You don't understand what this man went through for this music to be living today, that you just so casually stick in your truck and tell people you like Hank Jr. records. You know what I mean? Like, it bothers you. And so I love that what you're doing too, Andrew, for country music and for the history of it, and the stories you're telling. Like, even the other day, the one you talked about, Jeannie C. Riley, like it was so good. Like, I feel like I know a lot about country music, dude, but you were opening my eyes to things I've never known. And I hope you never stop doing this, because like, I look forward to whatever your next story is. I
appreciate that. I got a message from her, by the way.
Oh, I bet
Sean Camp. She said Sean Camp sent her the video. So she sent me this long message thanking me and said I made her year. And I'm like, well, you just made my year just by, you being happy with this. So,
well, there's just, none of us would be here doing what we're doing if it wasn't for those that paved the way before us.
Right.
And, we can sit here and talk about all we want about people like Hank Jr. and all these other people, but like, the story you told of her and her trials and tribulations of, always wanting to be the singer and getting married and having kids, and then moving to Nashville and going and like getting divorced and then getting remarried to this, those are stories that need to be told, because like, we think nowadays, and like these, like the journey of getting to Nashville and getting a chance and somebody handing somebody something, or the song Harper Valley PTA that she like that stuff it took her taking risks to get back to the place that she knew she needed to get to make that happen. And I think this all ties back into what we've talked about today. It's like, we all have our own story, man. And it's not always going to be the same, but like, you can always respect those that took those risks to get to where they are. And that's what goes down in history. And like you said, like, acknowledging her and bringing that up and acknowledging history is what makes these artists that feel sometimes forgotten, like they're not.
Well, I think it's important, that, and, a lot of people do know a lot about this kind of stuff. I mean, there's a hell of a lot of people that know a hell of a lot more than I do. Dylan Weldon, he's killing this. He's the reason I wanted to start doing these videos, because I'm like, holy crap. Like, I've always been passionate about the history of country music and who inspired me as an artist and a writer and everything, but I didn't know other people were. I just thought, like, this is a bunch of useless information in my own head that only I care about, and maybe Shooter or something. Yeah. But damn, a lot of people do care, and they do want to know.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that people are interested. And I'm glad that I can have a small voice, to try to help spread that word. And
well, I think you're a big voice within it, man. And like I said, I'm grateful you came up here and drove all the way up from Alabama here to Nashville to talk about music that's, you don't have to. Like you're talking about a record you don't even need to be talking about, and you are. And it you have no idea, not just to me, but I know Shooter would say the same. Like what you're doing for us too is so weird. Like I feel in debt to you, man, for everything you've been kind about.
I'm glad to be able to do it, and I hope that people will go buy the record. This is coming out today, November 7th.
November 7th.
So go buy it. Hopefully it gets on the charts. That'd be even better, wouldn't
That'd be cool.
I mean, it's not I know at this point it's like, that would be awesome, but it's like, hey, if it don't, it don't.
Yeah.
But as long as it's getting out there to people and people are happy with it, and I think they will be. I know they will be.
Well, thank you.
But I thought that it was important too for a lot of people not to just judge what you've done. I think about Waylon firing Chet Atkins. Like Bobby Bear got Waylon the record deal. Chet pretty much signed him. And then Waylon's like, nah, I don't work. I want to do stuff. Me and Richie's going to come in here and do stuff the way we hear it in our head. Well, nobody ever done that. That was a risk, Yeah. So, I mean, you got to take risks like that. I think, Shooter has such an appreciation, I think, for just risk takers, like you said. And a lot of times those risks don't pay off, and a lot of times they do.
Yeah.
And he was talking about Jamie earlier. I've never met Jamie, oddly enough.
Really?
But I will tell you that Shooter has said, oh, Jamie, you met Jamie? No, I've never met him. He's like, dude, you got to meet him. Teddy Gentry. I was writing a song with him. Well, you know Jamie, don't you? I was like, well, yeah, I've got all his albums. He's the reason that the main reason I'm not afraid to make music the way that I hear it in my head, But no, I've never met him. And it's like all these people, I've never met him, but we've been at the same place a few times, but I've never met him. But he's a big inspiration for me too. When he come along, the early 2000s, around the same time you come along, and Joe Nichols, and there was still like that country thing, and even on radio, like The Dollar, the song
it's funny you said that. We were on RCA Sony at the same time, and I remember when that came out, how much the machine of Nashville was trying to just kind of massage this Jamie Johnson thing, and cut his hair was short, and he didn't have his beard, and he had his cowboy hat on, and it was like, yeah. And then it was not until he kind of broke out of that and did his own thing, and is what made everyone go, this Jamie Johnson is unbelievable. They weren't like blown away by The Dollar, which was a great song. Yeah. But they were like blown away by him.
Oh, that Lonesome Song. Him and Kendall. That album. Yeah. And then the guitar song was incredible. Yeah. God almighty. But
that's a thing that Jamie would even tell you, and I really hope and get excited for you guys to hopefully meet and sit like this and talk, because the two of y'all will have an incredible conversation.
I would love to.
I've loved watching his journey of what he's doing and who he's become as a human being, and it's just been cool to watch. Like the last few times I've been around Jamie, he's just been such. Like he's had a kindness about him, which he's always had, but it's like he's very more open now to things, at least from my perspective, it seems. And he's got himself a good woman in his life who makes him super happy, and you can tell that. You can tell, man, when a man has a woman in his life that believes in him, and supports him.
That's everything.
Like I see it firsthand in him, and like he and I we're not hanging out like the way he hangs with Randy Houser and these guys, but like Jamie and I know each other. We go back a long time, and you can see it in a man when you find a woman that like is behind you fully, and he talks about that with her, and like it's cool to watch it because you can see the happiness in him now that maybe wasn't there for a long time because of something that was not fulfilled. And I feel that same way. I feel that way. Like I've definitely been in love. I love Erica, even like my ex. It's like, but I don't know that we ever found like the support in each other that we needed. And I think that's kind of my goal in life these days, is like, along with this music that I'm making in my own way and finding happiness that way, I'm also really like striving to find the other side of life outside of music that helps keep my life content. Because you hear all these stories, you know, like people throughout the world or throughout the music world of country music, and no matter, you can have a lot of success and put out all the records you want to make and the way you want them to sound and whatever, but if you don't have happiness at home, then that's just a cover up, you know. Yeah. And so like I want everything to be clicking on them. I want all the cylinders to fire together, not just, but you got to do it one by one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, man, couldn't be happier for you. Appreciate you not only just doing this, but also, you know, your nice office here, letting us use it.
Yeah, man.
And Chris, appreciate you a lot. Just, you've got a good thing going here, and a little, you know, a good team of people. You know, I've met most of them here today, and it's a good team of people you got behind you. And
heck yeah, man.
That's got to feel good too. It's got to feel like a lot less pressure. I feel like just like you can kind of breathe and just, you know, y'all are in this together kind of thing, instead of everybody getting in a pissing contest about this.
We are definitely in this together, and we all have the main and same goals in mind. It's definitely hard. It's harder than having the big machine behind you. It's hard to have. It's hard to, you know, when you like anything from the design of the album to, like, you know, a lot of big labels, major labels. They've got their creative teams. They've got that creative team is talking to the artist. The marketing team's talking to the artist and management. You got, you know, and then you just have all these different A&R. You've got and here we've just kind of like done it ourselves, and some of it's been scary because you're like, are we doing this the right way? Are we doing this to where we can even compete with the bigger labels? You know, like, how do we get this? How do we get that? Do we have the money to do that? Like, and really, I think what I think puts us in the place of competing is the integrity back to the music and just doing what we can. At the end of the day, that's all you can do.
Yeah.
So I appreciate you saying that, and we're excited. I've got a great team of people around me, and you're welcome here anytime, man. Maybe we'll write us a song or something someday.
Yeah, let's do it.
Love to.
It's called Dreams to Dream, and I really hope y'all will go check it out. It's out today, November 7th. And we appreciate Jake and having the courage to do this and for sitting down with us here. So appreciate it, man.
Thank you, buddy.
We'll see y'all next time.
Thank y'all.